Currently, the lunar Starship being developed by SpaceX at Starbase is a specialized version of the Starship spacecraft, tailored to serve as NASA's Human Landing System, HLS, for the Artemis program. This variant is designed to transport astronauts from lunar orbit to the Moon's surface and back. Hey, we finally know what's inside the lunar Starship that SpaceX has right now at Starbase. It has been a mystery for a long time, but now the interior design has been leaked. Unlike the regular Starship, this variant has no heat shield or aerodynamic flaps, as it is not intended for re-entry into Earth's atmosphere. Its exterior is white for improved thermal control, and it is equipped with additional thrusters and landing features suitable for lunar environments. We are looking at the first fictional spaceship that humanity will ever have. First of all, we must thank Tom Bigmore, who is the person who revealed this information, since he was able to enter the lunar Starship a few months ago invited by SpaceX. And he is the one who revealed everything he saw in there. So come on, let's start this tour of lunar Starship, showing a general outline of what we think it will be like, and now we immediately go into detail. At the top we will have the docking port, where astronauts will enter the ship when they are at the Gateway Space Station, or when they want to enter from the Orion ship. The gossips will be very similar to the one they currently have in the Crew Dragon. In fact, here you are seeing images of the docking tests that NASA's Orion carried out with the CAFU. Because yes, the Starship must be able to dock with the Orion spacecraft, in addition with the Gateway Station that will be around the Moon. When they do, astronauts will pass through a hallway, an access tube, which will take them directly into the interior of Starship. This interior currently has 2 floors, although I could end up having 3. We don't know this yet, but this RBI only has 2 floors. We then see this in much more detail. Below this habitable zone, we found the depecialized area. That is, astronauts have to go down to this area already with their suits on, because there is no air or life support system. And it is the area where you will access the elevator that will lower them to the surface of the Moon. Here they will also store the necessary material and equipment, like a kind of trunk, but larger, obviously. And as I told you, to enter this area, they will have to put on astronaut suits, so an airlock could not be missing. It is this semicircular shaped room that you see here. Here astronauts will put on their space suits. They will depressure the room to equalize the pressure with the outside space, and they will walk out the door ready to access the elevator. And well, in case anyone wasn't aware, Lunar Stay is going to descend those last few meters of the Moon, with the engines that are located right up here, and will allow a smoother and more precise descent than the powerful rotor engines, which would also raise a lot of lunar regolith in a future lunar base. These engines, being smaller and more closely located higher up, they will have less impact on the Moon's dusty surface. Okay, so now that the general structure of the lunar Starship is clear, let's see how SpaceX has thought about the interior design, which is what we came for. Or at least that's how the interior of the Starship prototype they have in place currently looks. Starbase. When the astronauts descend through the access tube, will be found on the habitable upper floors. Here, really as has been said, we do not know if there will be 2 or 3 floors in total. Because as I say, in Starbase there's only one built tube for NASA to validate the design. But we believe that, as you are also seeing, there is room for at least one more 3rd floor. But now we go down to the 2nd floor, which is the one that is built. Here we find several important things, and no, the channel logo, in principle, it won't be in the real lunar phase, but today I don't lose hope. No, now seriously, what we found are some very interesting things. This 2nd floor will be the habitat where the crew will rest, and it will also be the command module, according to the person who was inside Starship. SpaceX has some seats with gaming chairs set up, simply to validate the design. We also learned that SpaceX has been working with NASA astronauts for months to make a design that suits your needs. So everything that is being explained here might slightly change the layout, if these astronauts find it more comfortable. These chairs will have touch screens in front of them, like those found on the Crew Dragon. Tom Brickmore commented that on these screens, SpaceX is currently demonstrating transfer maneuvers to the lunar orbit and landing with a design similar to the Dragon docking simulator. From these seats the lunar Starship will be piloted. So it is one of the most important areas of the ship. But it is not the only one, because what you are seeing here. Now they are the cabins where the crew goes to sleep. And we know they are exactly this shape because these are the same booths we saw in an interview he gave Elon Musk more than 4 years ago. These cabins were inside the SpaceX factory. And now we finally know what they were building them for. For the lunar Starship, no more than 4 or 5 sleeping cabins will be needed. Because the Artemis missions will carry only 3 or 4 astronauts on each mission. At least during the first years of the program. But looking to the future or even to a Martian Starship, if the number of crew members needs to be increased. Tom Brickmore himself commented that these cabins were arranged in such a way that one could imagine that SpaceX could complete the circumference of the ship with all these cabins. And about 20 of them could fit in a circle on the outside. In fact, it has also been speculated that for a trip to Mars this ring of cabins, it could spin rapidly when the crew is sleeping to generate artificial gravity thanks to the force of refueling, and in this way the effects of microgravity on the human body could be mitigated. This is obviously highly speculative, I'm almost making this up. But it seems to me that it would be very interesting if this functionality, this rotation of the cabins could be done. But well, for now they are going to take advantage of the space that is available to place shelves and cabinets to store crew equipment. And this is how it is currently arranged in Tom Brickmore's Starbase model. Come on, let's go down to the ground floor now through this hole in the center of the room with a very wide staircase. Specifically, it is a staircase almost 1.5 meters wide, according to Tom Brickmore. This staircase takes us to the lower floor, where the life support system with all its components is currently located. Visible and fully operational care. This is something that has surprised me a lot because apparently SpaceX already has a life support system fully functional on Starship, which is a big step forward. On this lower floor, more material and supplies for our astronauts can be stored. And as I said, this is what the productive interior of Starship looks like right now. First of all, as you know, to go to the moon, the lunar Starship must refuel in low Earth orbit. And this is done by docking one Starship to another and performing a fuel transfer. A crucial test that SpaceX will have to do at some point, right? Well, we already have a date. NASA expects SpaceX to do so in the summer of 2025, which is just over 6 months from now. Yes, people, this summer we're going to have 2 Starships in orbit doing a fuel transfer. And we also know that these 2 Starships are going to launch within a month of each other. But to fill up the next one to a lunar Starship so that it can reach the moon, it will take more than 15 Starship Super Heavy launches. NASA hopes SpaceX will be able to launch 1 Starship every 2 weeks, that is, 4 launches per month, 1 from each of the orbital platforms that they have in Starbase, and taking into account that they are going to need, as we say, more than 15 launches. It will take about 4 months to have a lunar Starship ready to go to the moon. As of now, prototypes and test configurations of the lunar Starship are under assembly and refinement at Starbase, with key milestones, including orbital and refueling tests, expected in the coming years as NASA gears up for the Artemis 3 mission. And that's about it for today's episode. Thank you so much for tuning in, and that's all for today's update. If you enjoyed watching and found it useful, please make sure to subscribe to my channel and hit the like button. And if you want to support our channel and if you want to be up to date, you can become an exclusive member, so click on our perks through the link in the description below. Thanks to watching and see you next time.